We are at Mountain Valley RV Resort in Heber City, Utah, and we just happened to thread the needle perfectly to enjoy the beautiful fall colors here in the area.
And we've got a full-length review of this incredible resort for you to watch. But first, let's throw 60 seconds on a timer because we're going to do our best to give you a little overview and then convince you to stay for the rest of the episode. Immediately upon pulling into this resort, you are greeted with a wide staging area to check in at the front office. And once you return to your RV, you're then golf cart escorted to your site so that there's no confusion on where to go. The hookups are all located right in the middle of the site, so any rig, whether it's a Class A, B, or C, travel trailer, fifth wheel, or whatever the heck you're pulling, can easily gain access to the full hookups. The main roads are paved and almost every site is paved, so walking around is safe, easy, and not messy at all. If you're traveling with kids, there are so many great amenities, and if you're traveling with dogs, this resort has one of the nicest and largest dog parks that we have come across. Daily, weekly, and monthly rates are very reasonable considering the amenities you get and the location in the mountains. There is also an adult over 21 section, which features some of the largest sites we have come across and separate amenities so that you can enjoy adult-only time in the resort. Overall, we found this resort to be conveniently located, amenity heavy, reasonably priced, and filled with great people that enjoyed getting to know one another.
Hey y'all, we are Sean and Christina, and this is our therapy dog Nash. We left our home in Nashville, Tennessee to travel the US in an RV and shine a bright spotlight on the incredible work that therapy dogs do across our country.
First up, let's get our bearings with an aerial view to understand how the resort is laid out. There are two distinct sections at this resort, a family section and an adult 21 and over section. Within the family section, we found this to have several different styles of RV pads that you could choose from. Most of the options are pull-throughs, but there are 6 paved back-end sites and 9 gravel back-end sites, which happen to be the only gravel sites in the entire resort. The adult over 21 section is mostly pull-throughs, but you do have 8 back ends that have massive backyards and another 17 back ends that butt up to vinyl fencing, as well as 9 pull-in sites for motorhomes who want a really cool view of the mountains from their windshield. And before we move on to the list of amenities, let's check out some drone footage so we can really get a feel for the layout of the resort. As far as amenities go, this resort has them all. There are 2 pool areas in the family section and 1 pool area in the adult 21 and over section, and all pool areas have hot tubs as well. Gas fire pits, 2 pickleball courts in the family section and 1 pickleball court in the adult 21 and over section, a real wood fire pit area, a volleyball court, a basketball court, multiple laundry rooms, including a separate laundry room in the adult 21 and over section, an exercise room with ample equipment, all paved roads, valet escort to your site, garbage service every morning, private bathrooms and showers, an on-site store, a common area with couches and seating, a full-size kitchen that can be rented out if you need it, food trucks on Saturdays, 2 dog parks, propane refilling on site, a playground for the kiddos, a gated front entrance, and on-site cabins for people to rent that don't have an RV. We gave this resort an amenity score of 10 out of 10 because we couldn't find a single amenity that was missing. We break down the comfort category into 2 areas: overall appearance and noise. As far as appearance goes, the resort grounds are extremely well maintained. One of the first things we noticed upon arrival was how lush and green the grass was, which has to be a lot of work because of the arid environment. The landscaping is really well done, and since we were here in October, the fall leaves on the trees were absolutely beautiful. Instead of using a lot of mulch or messy gravel for landscaping, the resort uses a lot of big, chunky rocks to fill non-grass areas. It's very beautiful because it matches the mountainous backdrop and really makes you feel like you're in the mountains. One small drawback of the property is that it's located on a pretty busy 4-lane highway. There's a lot of traffic during the day, but it does slow down in the evening hours. You can definitely hear the traffic in the overnight hours, but it wasn't anything like staying at an RV park along the interstate. We gave this resort a comfort score of 8 out of 10 due to the highway noise. Since we've traveled full-time in our RV for the last year, we have seen a wide variety of pricing at RV resorts. And what we really like about this resort is that there are multiple site options, so it really does appeal to most budgets if you prefer to stay at RV resorts. On the lower price point, you have the gravel back-end sites in the family section, but they are only 30 amp, and they're going to run you $45 a day during non-peak season and $58 during peak season, which is designated between April 1 through November 1. There are weekly and monthly price breaks as well, with monthly being affordable at $695 per month plus electric, which is off-season only. On the high end of the price bracket, you have the adult-only 21 and over section, which is going to run $63 a night during non-peak season and $83 a night during peak season. Your monthly rate is going to be $895 plus electric during non-peak and $1,400 a month plus electric during peak season. One thing this resort does do that we have seen some other resorts do as well is they charge per person on top of the base 2 people that are allowed at each site. And this resort charges $3 per night per individual on top of that base rate. So if you have a family of 5, you're going to pay $9 additional per day on top of that base rate. We recommend following the link in the description to review the full pricing details on the resort's website so that you can compare the map to the site pricing to find the perfect site for your stay. While we do think the pricing is very reasonable for what you get, we are giving this resort a pricing score of 7 out of 10 because of the additional daily fees for more than 2 people. It can sometimes be difficult to meet people out on the road, but we were pleased with how easy it was to be social at this resort. Dog parks and fire pits are always great for meeting people, but everyone was really friendly that we met, so it was even easier for us to meet people. Families can easily mingle with other families, and if you value peace and quiet, you can get that in the adult section too. There really is something for everyone here. Overall, we thought the community aspect at this resort was great, and we were giving it a 9 out of 10. And as a side note, if there would have been pre-planned activities for guests to do, we would have scored it a 10 out of 10. By far, this location was one of our favorite parts of this resort. It's so close to everything that you need, and between Heber City and Park City, you really have everything there, so you don't need to go into the Salt Lake City area. The resort is 19 miles from downtown Park City, 26 miles from great shopping in Orem, and if you need to get to downtown Salt Lake, you're only 47 miles away. As far as Heber City goes, you're only 1.3 miles from Walmart, 1.2 miles from Crumble Cookie, 1.2 miles from an incredible Mexican restaurant called Don Pedro's, and 5.4 miles from fresh baked goods at Midway Bakery. This location is simply amazing, and we give it a 10 out of 10, which it well deserves. Before we average out the scores and give you a final rating, let's hop on to campgroundreviews.com and see what other people are saying. We use this website as a part of the RV Life app, and it's a great way to research RV resorts before you book. This is showing a rating of 9.3 out of 10, which we will use in the calculation of our rating as well. The most commonly selected rating spread is labeled as excellent. It's always good to read negative reviews, but there are only a few for this resort. We did find one that made a good point, which is that if you have to park your truck in the front of your RV in a pull-through on the family side, that it is more difficult to get in and out of your site, and this is definitely true. To wrap up, let's look at an average of the scores to get our final resort score. The amenity score was a 10 out of 10, the comfort score was an 8 out of 10, the pricing score was a 7 out of 10, the community score was a 9 out of 10, the location score was a 10 out of 10, and lastly, the campgroundreviews.com score was a 9.3 out of 10. When we average all that together, we get a final resort score of 8.9 out of 10. We really loved our time at Mountain Valley RV Resort, and honestly, we can't wait to come back next summer. In the meantime, leave us a comment if you like this style of review because who knows, we may do more of them.